What's up, Bobby? Let's get into that You know the vibes, man. My name is Nick. Welcome back to Redemption 46. How you doing?
Annyeong Loimnida.
I'm Curtis.
Jarek.
I'm Zach.
I'm Erigene Uzumaki.
Man, y'all seen the thumbnail, man. This shit real, man.
Woo. Long anticipated.
Yeah, but this been from all parties. This been from YouTube, from Patreon. These is the songs people, dog. This is the two tracks people wanted to see back.
Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell.
Obviously, because that's what I listen to.
Yeah.
That's where I get my information from.
Yeah. So for the 70% of the people who aren't subscribed to the channel, what the hell are you doing?
What the hell?
At this point, redemption is a part of your life. Become a real redeemer. Hit that subscribe button and also make sure to jump on the Patreon. Exclusive BTS dance practices up there. Exclusive BTS choreos. Rise of Bangtan. In the soup. Yeah. Run BTS. Yeah. Mama. MMA. Live performances. Dance practices. Everything you want to see. Interviews. Speeches. Me. Wait, so Summer Deal. And you gonna lose it.
Wait, someone's got to press the button. They like,
it's like, oh, there's a little too much dip on your chip. Nah, but the Patreon's a great place. Over 2,100 members on there. We're trying to grow that joint. Let's double up this month. Get to 5,000 members. Also, listen, yeah, you will. That content crazy. That content crazy. Also, make sure you subscribe. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers, yo.
BTS concert on there.
Oh, that content crazy. That's a clip, future Nick.
He's sleepy. He's sleepy.
Nah, but no long talk, man. Dionysus versus On. This is a heavy hitter. I have no dog in this fight. Let's jump right into this.
Can't put it
I was
away.
like, they about to win.
Shit.
Tell me that they can't do with the party, yeah. Sing it, pull up, dash it, drink it, my show, dash it, all into my town. Shoot to the ground. Check it, go. She didn't get hot. Shoot to the ground. No one gets so tall. Okay, now ready for show. 마셔, 내 술자리. 더 빠져, 미친 내 술자리.
Oh my. Oh my fuck.
Come on, say.
Shit. J-Hawk feet always move a little bit more. Like. Like, look at Hope in the Bay. His legs always move a little bit. Oh yeah. Hey. Oh my God. Right here with the head on the.
Trust fall.
Drop the bass.
You ready for this? Are you ready to get hyped up? Come on.
That high note. Jim.
Sit on the fucking throne.
Wow.
Where they deserve.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, let's
Wow.
jump right
Wow.
on to on. Shit.
Guess what?
Wow.
No. Space bar, not mouse. Rap visually. It's okay. All I'ma say is, chill it with the. Don't put me down because you know I'm a fighter. Hands on my make the pain away. Hey!
Mike's got a pie on that one.
I know that ain't what I think it is. The fucking bun in his hair. That nigga did this one in a fedora. Hey. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
He crushes that part so much.
With the long hair, bro. You got the bun up.
Then going crazy. In a career full of moments, is JK's brightest. I get chills every time I hear that note.
Oh shit!
Thought it was over. I know they ain't Kim Tae-young. Them hoes up. Mark Clement,
Hey! I wanna eat this shit! Hey! Oh my God, you gotta chill, bro. Hey, you gotta chill, bro. Hey. Drop them fucking, yo,
stick drop.
drum line. They said, hey. I said I didn't have a dog in this fight, and I don't. But I will say, man, it's a difficult choice. Before anybody says anything up here, y'all jump in the comments and tell us who y'all thought won this choreo battle. I think the fans did.
Oh wow.
This is the first one I'm stumped. I really don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to wait.
I'm leaning one way.
What's the way? Talk to him.
I'm leaning towards on a little bit more. And it's 51-49. The reason I'm leaning towards on a little bit more is because I think Dionysus, if I'm being like judgmental, relies slightly more on props versus on kind of being
That's gonna be the big distinction.
almost strictly
like.
dancing.
Makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I think Dionysus might have been maybe the better performance in my opinion, but I think if this is a choreo battle, obviously I take performance into everything too, but strictly like just dancing, I think maybe on won me over just a little bit more formations, a little not less reliant on backup dancers, but also it seemed like I forgot how much was just them. Rewatching this again, I wanted to see like kind of how much the backup dancers were used. But for a lot of the formations, they were really just backup dancers. Like, look, they kind of just were holding the drums, doing like certain stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But I'll leave the floor open to y'all to jump in this.
No, put the other drum.
Y'all anybody feel differently or?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
completely differently
Okay.
from what you're saying. So, first of all, I'm going to go with Dionysus. That's what I'm going with. I love that they have props. Makes everything a little bit more.
My comment was not a diss to his props.
Yeah, it sounded like it was.
You made that narrative.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know, it's a lot of people here, man.
I love the prop. I love the table just because it brings another level to their dancing, right? One, some of them are, as you can see, on the table. Another one's on top.
I see I'm about to be in this fight
But
with
one of
myself.
my favorite things is when they're kind of like one
Chose the
standing
wrong
on the
side.
top and one standing on the bottom, and they're kind of like still in sync, doing a very unique move, which is 2 levels, one on the floor and one on the table. think it's very intriguing. I think it's dope for them to be moving props around, standing on top of them, and still be able to hit their mark. It's very impressive to me. That's why I always prefer props and stuff like that in the dances, because it brings another level of expertise to it. We've seen their choreo all the time. On is amazing, but I think with what they did with Dionysus is just a different level of synchronicity. I'm being specific. And just the fact that they're, like I said, they're not just dancing on the floor, they're dancing on top of props and still being able to pull things off. Even when they're dancing with their background dancers, there's still a level of togetherness with them as well. It doesn't feel like they're just background dancers. It's very fun to watch. I think the formations were very interesting. There's a lot more movement around. It was fun to watch. I like things that are fun to watch.
I want to rebuttal too. A couple things. Well, one, I don't have an issue with props, but if you need props to elevate the choreo, then that already is leaning towards my side of the thing, saying that one choreo stood better without versus another one that kind of needed it to uplift a little bit. Secondly, too, even as far as like the camera work goes on here, if you were watching this from like a crowd, you wouldn't get some of the complexity in this choreo from back there. The way the camera movement helped you kind of get it here. On doesn't need none of that. On, you can be watching it from down the street and still kind of see the synchronicity, the layers, the formations, and everything else. I would miss core elements of certain moves if I didn't have a fixed camera for Dionysus. So I just think that kind of adds a little bit of layering to whatever as far as the camera movements go. But yeah, I just kind of want to rebuttal
I still think
that.
that's ultimately in favor of Dionysus, so over On, in the sense that we talk about it before in other choreo battles as far as having your dancers or your singers or whichever, whether it's background or the members of the group, how they get into and out of the frame to kind of reveal themselves or hide themselves. So if I can see that same thing from anywhere, no, but I'm saying in On's case, if I can see it from anywhere in On's case, then there's no real hiding or kind of revealing of any information.
Yeah, wouldn't that make it more difficult?
Not, I will say, maybe in the sense of actually seeing it from an audience perspective, as you're saying, but as far as like the storytelling, any reveal in the storytelling loses its element in that sense. Because, for example, in Dionysus, in Jungi's verse, they talk about Dionysus. Dionysus was born twice. So he has a rebirth. Suge, in his verse, talks about rebirth from idol to artist. Essentially, you know how there's that distinction between the two? So if you don't get him hidden by the background dancers to then reveal him, the rebirth has no emotion behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also, I mean, you're bringing storytelling into this is decent anytime you know all the BTS. Yeah. I'm talking about a blank choreo. Like, I don't know nothing going on.
That's all staging and blocking elements that go into the choreography to hide someone, to reveal them. But
no, I'm just saying, like, in the sense of, like, those story beats and everything are decent, and it adds complexity to us watching it, and then it's a little more impactful. But I'm talking about if someone was blindly going into it, those moments wouldn't hit as well. You know what I mean? Like, the moments wouldn't.
I wonder at that point then if you would be judging choreography or just kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's why it's a choreo battle. So it's like
someone watching a film, there's the filmmaking side of it versus the audience who just wants to, kind of see the story. So I don't know if you'd get kind of some of the nuances of everything within that. But no, I definitely see your point.
I guess I'm trying to go into it almost with both hats on, where you look at it from an audience standpoint, someone who may not know, like, the backstory of what's going on and everything, how the choreo was presented without, like, camera movement and everything else and stuff, and then also, like, with the film side of things. But we can go back and forth. I like good discussion, Joe.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. It's a good topic.
Which one was the more entertaining one to watch?
Well, yeah, did any of you guys actually, like, say
both
what you
of them.
thought, generally? Right?
You won't get me. Say nah. Yeah, that side of the table. How are you?
I'm just sitting here listening to this. I'm just still
You still kind of deciding? It's hard. It's a hard one.
I'm still debating myself. I really just feel like it's a preference battle. You know what I mean? Either you want a prop or you don't want the prop. I feel like
I don't know which one was more fun to watch.
they both was fun to me. I love both. I love them using the props and killing it,
Is
and
that
I
the
love them
automatic
without
winner
them
for
using the
choreo
props
battle?
killing
Was
it.
fun
This one is
versus
going to be
was-
hard. I don't think I'm going to be
Not
able to
to
really
me.
pick one. You know
That's
what I
what I
mean?
mean.
The steps
I always
on
go
both of
storytelling.
them still looked, pretty good. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know.
So, I feel like Dionysus, this was the better performance because I just feel like the props helped because they gave him an extra piece into the dance performance. But On, my opinion, was the better choreographed piece. Simply because of...
There was choreo on the table.
I didn't say it wasn't. I just said the other one was...
Ridiculous.
He's trying to make an argument. I think no one said neither one was bad. He's trying to start trouble.
You're not turning it into that.
But On, I just like the dancing concept to that one. Just how, to me, it just seemed like kind of Afrocentric in a way.
Oh, okay.
And I like the
Switch
drum,
sides.
the drum aspect to it as well. I don't know. It was kind of tough for me. I don't know. But I'm definitely leaning towards On. For me, it's probably 60-40.
Wasn't a billion backup dancers in Dionysus?
Yeah, but it was more group centric. Like it was more BTS
I disagree.
centric.
I feel like the backup dancers were standing a lot.
Wholeheartedly disagree.
There's more backup dancers.
Yeah, I feel like on this one it was a lot of backup
There's more backup
dancers.
dancers in this one.
It was.
It's not.
You want to count them?
It didn't bother me.
It bothered me.
You're the only person on earth that was bothered by the backup dancers on.
Bothered me.
Person's like, it's a call to arms. It's part of the story.
Outside of that first part, you barely see the backup dancers
Look at
in the background.
Y'all really enjoying this?
Well, I'm sorry they're not jumping on tables. It's gonna start getting
I
started.
know, like, if you like the song or not.
It's gonna start getting.
Right.
It's been a minute and 6 seconds. I've seen more backup dancers than I've seen BTS members.
Okay.
First minute.
Some songs are gods here, and the beat go on for a minute before anybody start rapping. What does that mean?
Yeah,
If it's amazing, it's amazing. So
Look
now
at
what's
Jen.
the issue?
That's what I'm saying. Look at
The choreo
look at
clean.
everybody. 1 through 7.
Also, like you want to be a little chippy. The chorus part on way over the like that's the chorus. Their chorus part way over the
don't know about way
the
over.
chorus part. Is it over, love?
It's in the same neighborhood, man.
Do they got a better house on the block? They got a corner house. So no, I'm being chippy, just to be chippy. What was your point?
I would say on here they had like a
What's going on?
lot
What's going on?
more energy.
It's called dancing.
Like Jimin, for some reason when he's barefoot, he's
They
a
just
monster.
passed these niggas they just passed these niggas the drumsticks to play the drums.
Make that joint 10 seconds.
These niggas had the Nick Cannon they situation,
Just
bro.
walking around.
not
Look,
Come on, yo. Jin didn't learn to play the drums for you to act like this, dog.
look at him.
That's fire. It's a part of the
Whoever
choreo.
sitting in that chair becomes a dick.
That chair curtain was tied. That chair curtain.
Y'all talking about props. They over here playing drums. They got instruments.
Nigga learn how to play the drum and that's a diss.
That's what we just talked about. They over here playing drums. Like, damn.
Crazy.
Niggas got talent.
But it's cool to hide behind the table.
Put that
It's gonna start getting chippy, Kurt.
Wait till I come in. I got you.
I'm about to be like,
Put that nice.
shy. Behind the table.
Why do you look like you're like churning the butter?
Play that one.
It is. It was playing. They went crazy in IKEA. But
Hey yo,
The table break.
the reason you can't see the dancers too because the fucking camera zoomed in. See, look, it's fucking 30 people there. You can't see because the camera's
shit. Damn.
Lo, it ain't 30 backup dancers on Dionysus. My fault, 22.
It's way more.
It's way more people on though.
No, it's somebody behind.
It's people behind each person too.
I know, but I'm saying is that in on it's like a lot of people though. Go back to on.
6, 7, 8.
It's more people on. I'm just building.
14, 15, 16.
That's why I feel like they both the
Yeah, I was gonna
same
say,
to me,
whichever
just
has
with
more or
props
less.
and
I
How's
swear,
that?
more people come in at one time too, though. Fact check this.
But what does that say?
Someone
about
gonna be
the
like, nah,
choreography, though?
actually he's right.
What does that say about the
Look,
choreography?
oh no, come on, that shit look like the light came on in New York and the roaches. The lights came on in a bodega.
It's a whole city in all.
Boy, it's at least 20 people behind the table.
Crouching.
More group work in the first minute.
I know, wrong.
They get right to it. Boom.
You would have aired some other group out sitting down.
Boom. Look.
Nah, I will say they're not.
Niggas would
just
have aired
sitting down,
somebody
though.
else sitting down in the choreo for 2
Niggas
seconds.
in that chair.
Yeah, well, yeah, this chair is
They,
toxic.
look. They're in the second level. Boom.
Not kidding.
Boom. Second level. Get him up there. Boom. Yeah.
There's nothing going on. That's not choreo, bro. They just on the hold on, no. Hold on,
Bro,
no.
that's
Now,
what he was-
now let's have a conversation.
Nah, that's what he was doing.
What's
the last
choreo in this?
song.
Let's be fair. What's choreo in the scene? Hey, hip hop, hooray!
Hey.
On the table, hey,
got him up
hey,
All right, I'm not
hey, hey.
How is that choreo for any other group then? Even when it's a turn up song.
Talk to him.
It's the same
Talk
thing.
to him.
And I have the same energy.
They're on. No, you don't.
When have I ever? When have I
It
haven't?
was just
They're on the
arm,
table
bro.
dancing as though they would in any other turn up song, and it's choreography in the turn up
Name
song. But it's
one. No. Now,
to him,
fact check
bro.
Nick, and I'll
Talk
jump to
to him,
find the
bro.
footage. Show one video where a nigga's on the table and I hype it up.
No, not the
Talk to
table.
him,
I'm
kid.
saying the move that was being performed on the table, how he was dancing on the table. That is the same
they
type
was just
of
doing
dance
that
that
arm.
would be in a
When I
turn
was
up.
like, he's just walking around.
I'm saying he's actually dancing on the table, so therefore it's choreography.
He's bopping, y'all.
But I'm saying it's choreography when it's bopping in other songs, and not choreography when it's bopping here.
We don't normally let anybody just kind of bop for a long time in any song though. I don't
The
even.
fact that the background moved the
lifted
table,
him
though, I
onto
mean,
the
to a
table
certain
when the beat
degree,
dropped.
that's kind of needed.
He lifted him so he could land.
Bro, y'all saying a lot of words. I've never in life counted that as deep choreo for no group in a choreo battle.
That's choreo. Movement to me is choreo.
So anybody doing anything is choreography to y'all.
All right, well, hang on. No, not
Now, hold on.
I'm gonna just lay out my full point now because right now we're just nitpicking.
Yeah.
And it's fair, don't get me wrong, but just laying the general groundwork of why I think it's Dionysus.
It was
overall.
fun. Go off.
Now I'll be fair. On 1000% is a top 3, top 4 song for me. So the song was hands down. Like I went into it unbiased, but believe me, like On is like
For the viewers, where do you rate the choreo?
the choreography has to be top 5.
Okay.
Honestly. It has to be top 5. But that being said, now yes, ultimately, will it come down to props and things of that nature for this as far as the distinguishing factor? Yes. But mind you, there was also 2 or 3 beat breaks in there in which, again, the choreography switched up. Even when they're sitting at the table with the background dancers, the hands like slapping down in unison. There's 20 plus people, give or take. So there's 20 plus people, give or take. Each of them having 2 hands, slapping them down the line sequentially with the beat to the outside of the line, then back to the center the way they did. That's all synchronization of 20 plus people.
Oh yeah,
And then they rise back up, the background gets back down, and then they have that sequence on the tail. So there's so much synchronicity in it. The utilization of the props, granted, yes, obviously the background has to work with moving the props and things of that nature, but even when they have the props and when they don't have the props, the synchronization, the storytelling, and ultimately I would say the formations are much more complex and further throughout than this. But I will say, this being a much longer performance, you do kind of have more time, I feel like, to integrate those things. So that could, however you sort of take that. But just even aside from it actually being props, it's ultimately everything in the props does aid the storytelling. And I do see it, if you look at it as a performance other than straight choreo, that's something that can be said, and I'll take that with a grain of salt. But for what we're basically judging up here, because at that point, if we're judging performance versus choreography and kind of separating the two.
The whole point of choreo is to perform.
But then at the same point, I would say On is almost more orchestraic in the sense of the gathering of instruments and everything, the drumming. And don't get me wrong, they had the synchronization with the drumsticks and like how they, so all their synchronization was lined up incredibly too. But when I think about the staging and blocking elements of it, the way members were hidden and then revealed, whether it's behind the table, like there was moments where people were straight up in line. You felt like all 7 of them were there. They dip out of the frame, and then someone with the background dancers comes in with the whole table, and then that 7th member that you almost didn't notice was missing is revealed. Keeping with, again, the whole rebirth of the Dionysus thing. So it's just when you integrate that kind of storytelling, the way they were able to hide and reveal members with that much background dancers and everything like that, the utilization that they had of the props, keeping the props fresh, having them sit on the chairs, but again, it's like the Greek gods kind of aspect. So all of those things I just felt like just made it a much better choreography generally. But if you do judge it in the vein of a performance, then I would simply have to say that you would have to keep the same energy with judging on as a theatrical or orchestraic performance in the sense of like more band aspects, and then Dionysus in that sense would be theater as far as a performance, a show. So essentially it's going to be performance versus choreography, and then theatrical versus orchestraic, I feel like, if you kind of like are tipping the scales in that way. But just again, what they did with all the synchronization, the utilization of the background dancers, the props, everything, like On's choreography is ridiculous, and I'm not denying that. Again, it's one of my favorite songs too, but I just feel like there's so much more complexity within Dionysus that it just holds it holds much more weight in the long term, I guess, for me.
Let me ask y'all a question. If the whole point of choreography is to perform it, how can you not look at the performance aspect of it? The whole point of when you put together a dance, and you choreograph a piece, you're choreographing it to perform it. Yes or no?
Yes and no.
Yes.
So sometimes you just choreograph to not perform it.
No,
okay.
but
Is it the point?
No, because hold on, no, you're trying to change the narrative.
Right, that's the
the point of bringing up props and everything is that outside of choreography, it is third parties or other elements that can up a choreography.
It's a part of the choreo. But that's the
thing, though. If it ups the choreography, then how can the choreography?
If you have to move it at a certain time so that you can get at a certain place at a certain time and to hit a certain movement, if you have to move it a certain way, if you have to step over it, get on top of it a certain way to hit a certain beat or to get there at a certain specific time.
Do you want an example?
Then it's choreo.
If let's say all this was going on and then the pyrotechnics went crazy. During the pyrotechnics, everyone was like, oh my God, yeah. It's a part of the performance. That's not choreography, though.
Yeah,
it enhanced the
pyrotechnics is different from actual props.
It enhances the prop stuff. The props. The prop stuff is still third parties and other people because people are still.
I can't agree with that.
Why not?
They're directly on it, dancing on it, getting on top of the table, sitting
that's
on
like,
the chair.
That's like Jimin dancing with that drum.
No, I'm saying, do y'all realize that it enhanced the performance?
But you have to move
that
it
doesn't make it not choreography.
You have to time it.
If you take away Jimin's scarf doing that fucking dance, is it still an amazing performance?
Yes, but
okay. But if I take away props here, what happens?
Instead of they
hide behind each other and stuff like that. Would the performance lack a little bit? Let's have an honest conversation.
If you're talking about performance,
that's not the intention.
Then maybe, but it would ultimately be in a page.
I know it's not the intention.
My thing is that if you have a prop, if you have an item that you choose to perform with, you still have to have a certain timing with it. You still have to rehearse certain movements, right, to hit your certain marks. That's still choreo. It is a third-party object. It is another source, but you're incorporating a part of your choreo, so it's still a part of the choreo.
No, it's a part of the choreo in the sense of it's a part of the overall performance. You can do, let's say, let me give you another example. Let's say you had rain falling down on one of your performances and stuff like that. Do you understand that you can do the choreo without the rain?
You can't rehearse with rain. You can rehearse with a table and rehearse with water.
Well, no, my problem with that is those elements are outside of the performance.
This is a part of the performance.
No, I mean part of the performance, but I'm saying like if it's pyrotechnics, it's something that's not directly interacting with the artist, right?
I think it's.
But
You know what I
with,
mean?
but
If
with
it's
both
the
your
lighting,
points,
it's the
the
same way.
pyrotechnics can be included in storytelling, or like Jarek said, a part quote
No,
unquote a
if
choreo.
someone does like a flip and they land on beat and then the pyrotechnics go on, that's going to add more of an exclamation point to that punch, hence making the experience more enjoyable for anyone in the audience. But I don't know that it takes away from the flip being performed itself. You know what I
No,
mean?
it doesn't, and that was my whole thing with the scarf.
No, I get that.
And my thing wasn't to shit on the props; it just was to say that it elevated the performance a little bit better.
But the thing is,
That was it.
if it elevates the performance,
That's great that it did that.
if it elevates the performance, it doesn't lessen the choreography. That's my thing. So in other words, even if it made
I never said that.
No, but then I'm saying the choreography in the same vein would still be over on in that regard.
Let me explain it.
Hold on, this is where I come in now, and this is where I disagree with that, because what I said earlier was that it's a performance enhancer.
Well, this is where
Came in
I come
Wakanda. Go off.
But
This
so
is where I
like,
come in.
yeah, like I said, if you take all of the props away, all of the camera tricks and everything like that for Dionysus, all of the storytelling that you love so much, you wouldn't be able to tell what the hell they were doing.
That's ridiculous. You can see.
It's
the
not
movement.
ridiculous.
You
I'm
can
talking about when it comes
see
to the
the
table
movement.
stuff. If they still did that without the
But this
tables
is
and
my
everything
thing,
like
right?
that,
This is my thing.
you
When
would
they
not
were-
be able to tell what they're doing. So
Right.
the choreography would look like, okay, like that part looks kind of cool, but I don't know what they have going on there. Whereas this, you can clearly see they're doing trust falls. They're doing different types of acrobatics and everything like that, and tricks with the props there. Like they're hiding guys. You go down, you flip up, hold, these guys stand up while these guys go out. These guys come up, these guys fall back. Everything like that.
Are you saying-
That's a part of
are
it.
you saying it
Whereas
makes the
with
choreo
On,
easier?
I'm telling you what I'm saying. When you watch On, you see them. It's straight up dancing and everything like that. And when I look at the two bass, the dancing
no
from
dancing
both.
here?
When I look at the dancing from both, huh?
There's no dancing here.
I didn't say it was no dancing.
I was
I
just
said
asking.
when I said I'm answering you, you keep butting in. When you look at the dancing from both of them, On to me is just that much better, especially when it gets to the solo part where you start off with Jim and V and Hope. You see them, they killing it, boom. Then the other three come in and they start smoking it. So you have a moment where it's just straight up all choreography, nothing else, nothing from the band, from the drill team or anybody back there. And that part is more memorable. Not only that, that part stands out in the video.
Now, I ask you something. Does Dionysus have a video? An MV?
No,
Now, the
Dionysus
reason I'm
has
asking
live
that is because we
performance.
know some of the elements in the choreography are contingent to fit in the video, right? As far as like that breakdown of the subunits and everything like that, as you had said, for instance, JK's solo moment, the high note, you're going to have a moment that needs to be cleared for like that close up, right?
And
so that's going to inform a little bit of how you structure the choreography. In Dionysus, they don't have that, so therefore they're kind of, you don't have to say, oh, we have to match this part in the video, or we have to make like, you know what I mean? So in other words, I feel like you have to have certain beats that you have to hit, no pun intended, within On. Then when you're in Dionysus, you're more free to kind of explore the storytelling aspects of everything.
I'll say here with those two, the difference is for me, or actually it's not even that it's a difference. The thing with that is I don't think the MV that we watched for On, not the
I know what you mean, the Kinetic Manifesto
the Kinetic
versus
Manifesto, which is what we just watched them perform. When you look at that, that's just a straight up performance. So all it would be is if they recorded the MMA performance with the same type of camera at the same what rate?
No, I know what you mean. That's
And like if they recorded it that way, it would be totally
you missing things with the way the camera is presented with On. Y'all watch the MV when they do that overview shot. You see different
drone
formations
wraparound and
above and everything, and the drone wraparound. Even with that, let me word my wording so I'm very clear on how I feel. At base, with just dancing involved, nothing else. Forget the drummers, forget the props and everything else. The choreo for On at base is an 8 or an 8.5. The base for here for just dancing alone, just the choreo, is more like a 7 to me. That's why
all parts of the choreography, though. So if you're taking elements of the choreography, of course it's gonna
like, how
lessen.
you gonna judge
it's
the
a choreo
Whoa,
battle.
whoa, whoa, hold up.
It's a choreo.
That's
Bro,
every
this is
battle
my
we
whole
do
point.
that.
This
We
is my whole point.
dancing.
This is my whole point.
I've been very clear, and I've had this
Bro,
this stance
that's
for
why-
everything.
that's
That's
why I
what I'm saying. My
alright,
energy
alright.
hasn't changed.
But let me explain something. Let me
I said
explain
one was a
something.
performance song. One
Let me
was a better
explain
dancer.
Jared, what was the first thing I said? I said the performance for Dionysus was better.
Yeah.
That means with the props and everything, it elevated, and the
Bro,
performance
this
was
is my
better.
point. This is my point, though, right?
Ty
When
was
they
right.
were in rehearsals and they were like, "We're about to put together a
Yeah,
choreo
he
for
was
this song. We're gonna have a fucking table in it." the table was a part of the choreo from the beginning. I'm sure they.
So they
About
would,
30%
but
of it is on top of
y'all
it.
keep saying it's a part of it, like they fucking called the table's manager and told him he was gonna be in the video.
I'm just saying,
You know how they are with storytelling.
I feel like, look, you taking away the prop. You're taking.
It takes away
the-
storytelling.
you're taking- No, you're
But that's
taking
what
away
I
the
said. I
choreo.
said that takes away a key.
No,
a
no,
key
away the
piece to
choreo
that.
that happens on that prop.
yes and no. BTS would have been smart enough to turn one of the members into a table. It is other things that you could have done with no props.
Now
there.
you want them to
We
walk
just
on the
seen
members.
other groups do the same thing. No shade or nothing. We just saw Atiz use members as a fucking table and Bull do a flip over members on the joint.
No, that's legit. Why I said it's going to come down to that. And I also separated with
Zach,
theater
if
versus
there's choreo happening
orchestra.
on top of the table, how are you gonna remove the table if there's choreo happening on top of the choreo?
Yo, Jared.
But there's dancing on
Jared,
top of the table, and you're
Jared, would you be surprised if their choreographer, when they got on top of the table, told them that you could freestyle and do whatever you want while the table is moving, just stay safe?
that's a good
Would you be surprised? So y'all keep calling it choreo.
Fuck that. Use this time to catch your breath.
Use this time to catch your breath.
Like this, like
If
They
you
had
fa-
those
like
moments
that,
in
yeah.
art.
Would you count that as quote unquote choreo if in the choreo it was choreography to you to catch your breath?
For the sake of me winning the argument, yes.
See?
No, I actually agree with Jarek, just in a different facet.
Would you
though.
count that as choreo?
Yeah.
If
Only
it was just like
because-
freestyling?
There's
Yeah,
movement
but it's
and timing,
It's,
yes.
it's a space that needs to be filled, yes, but it may not necessarily hold the story aspect of everything, or rather, the background dancers may be filling the story elements within that moment.
This is
as
a good
opposed
one.
to you.
They can make a member.
Yeah, but at the same point, hypothetically, like even in On's breakdown and everything, when members like the 3J subunit and everything has their breakdown at the end, if the other members are off to the side, that's quote unquote not choreography for them, but they're part of the performance as a whole. Like if you're in a crowd watching and all that, like it might be a moment to utilize, something to
That
get
was
your
like a
breath,
freestyle
but I don't
right
think
there.
it deters necessarily
No, he's
from
right.
the
Might be.
choreography itself. It's just not quote unquote like their part, I guess. You know what I mean? Rather than saying they're just simply removed from it or simply ad-libbing, I guess, so to speak. But another thing I did want to touch on within that was basically the same way, like I understand, the distinction between the props and things of that nature. It's just, I guess my whole thing is too, for example, within On, we know it's like kind of like, I mean, we see it more so in the video, I'll say, than in the kinetic manifesto. But just the idea of kind of, like the whole coming together as a civilization sort of thing from like a little bit more of those solo moments. So it's kind of motivated to have like the drummers and this amassing of people in that sense, you know what I mean? Because it's the communal aspect that they're trying to portray. But all that to say, if you remove those elements from Dionysus, even if it is just the tables or elements of the background dancing, then essentially you'd be making the same argument that you have to remove the drums entirely from On, I feel like.
So remove the drummers from On and remove the furniture from Dionysus. What performance is better?
I still think there's more formations and everything within Dionysus.
Okay.
After this,
and beat breakdowns.
right from right here, dancing.
Yeah.
All choreo. All
part
choreo
on-
shit.
No, that's incredible choreography. I said it's a top 3, top 5 for me.
Dancing wise, not them jumping on the
Look,
table and jumping
mirroring.
Dancing.
Look at the
Wait, hold
synchronization.
on. All right, so synchronization with
let
background
me get
isn't
that
choreography
mouse.
then.
What you mean? As
He
far
said
as
name the choreography that's better in Dionysus.
I'll show you.
Synchronization, right, is part of choreography.
Oh, I think he was saying. Well, I think you mean show me a part of Dionysus where the choreography was as synchronized as that. Oh, better synchronization. Than
Better
that.
synchronization. They were sitting at the table.
That wasn't involving a table, just them dancing. Period. Not jumping on
That's
the table.
that's still a
jumping
part
on
of the choreography, though.
That's what I'm saying.
It is, but I also think
Then at that point, we're removing if someone throws their arms or elbows, saying their feet ain't moving. Basically.
Zach and Jarek at the table. What is they like tutting and like
Look, no
doing just
table,
kind of mirroring.
No table. Talk to him. No table.
Bro, you're not about to. No, we're not doing this because I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No, here we go.
Talk to
Boom.
him.
This is exactly what I just said. When you bring it down to just the dancing and you do that part right, this chorus versus that chorus dancing on Smokesta's part. On Smokesta's part.
Snapping right there.
The dancing from On's chorus to Smokesta's part.
Nothing or the On chorus.
I do enjoy the chorus of On more than the chorus of Dionysus.
The
However,
chorus
that,
I'm just asking. It don't take away from nothing you said.
It doesn't take
More
performance. You know what I mean?
away
That
from the
doesn't.
table. Yeah. Stop playing with
Now
me.
I will say, Zach,
Half the members aren't moving.
the amount of
BTS,
physical
they don't have to
energy
move
and everything they have to
sometimes.
exert performing
I know,
on
bro.
might be more on the artist than in Dionysus, and that could be like perhaps something that like gives it a little bit of leeway in that sense.
So they not.
This is probably the only part.
Come on now.
No, even with this, I don't think it's better than the dancing from On. That's what it comes down to, and that's where it wins.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
know.
talk about more difficulty. This is more grandiose. This is bigger. I'll agree with Jarek. They still had to execute it because, like I said, it's not saying one's bad and one's good. However, one is better. And
Yeah,
On-
you want to argue so bad. That's what people gonna take away from it. Like, oh, they said no. Like both of these are amazing.
Yeah.
Both of these land in the top 5 for I think everybody here.
Yeah,
Y'all not up here at this table, yo. It turned into a nitpicky situation where at that point you almost gotta not try to discredit the person at the same time, but try to win your argument because everybody want to be right.
They battling up here. Come on now.
Okay, Malfoy and Harry.
Exactly what Wizard do.
I did get.
I hope that's what that was for. Though.
I did get the Chamber of Secrets vibe.
Yeah,
That's
But
exactly what I thought of.
But now also
Snape
just
and
to,
Gilderoy
just to kind of
Lockhart.
add a little bit
Look, y'all trying
more
to
to what I
remove all
was saying
this?
was basically
Dance on the back of
it's
dance.
really a big part of choreography for me aside from just the synchronization, which I feel like overall is better within Dionysus personally. But it's also the way again you hide and reveal members. You know, whether it's for storytelling purposes or for again the exclamation point of a breakdown or anything like that. The way you hide and reveal members. There was, and granted, yes, there is a lot to do with the background dancing, but it's kind of one of those things where I feel like the camera techniques as far, I mean, not like the physical camera itself moving, but just the way how the camera takes the eye of the audience, the way the camera basically, or the way the choreography was staged and blocked to kind of hide and reveal things for the audience, I feel was better executed and more artistically done and in better service of the story in Dionysus than it was in On.
I think Dionysus looks great in concert, and that's really what it was made for, a live thing. The choreography in a general sense is amazing, of course. However, when it comes down to just having some dancing and most memorable like moments as far as the members just dancing, on has about 3 moments that's like the top 3 moments from between both, in my opinion.
37 people
Really
back there.
You're not doing nothing. You're standing there.
They really like just there beating their drum.
But yeah, thanks y'all for
Exactly.
watching. We're gonna put up a
Just
poll
standing there.
and get y'all
Well,
votes.
let's bring it to one final hand raise.
That's when your point's done. When you done.
I think things are going to hold different value for me personally than for you guys. Like, for example, like how I said, the storytelling and things of that nature, as far as, if it, because, if you're dancing in any regard, generally, I feel like you are trying to tell a story of some kind. So I always kind of hold that to like the highest tier, and I just feel like the storytelling was done at such an elite level. Yes, aided by props and things of that nature, sure. But I just feel like that's going to be ultimately what gives it the edge for me. And for example, if it's with you guys and you say it's more physically exerting to perform on as an individual artist than perhaps as, in Dionysus, and that is what gives it the edge for you, or any other kind of number of factors. They're all right and, fair in their own way. But the only thing I was really going to ask is just kind of where does everyone stand right now? I think it's me and Jarek Dionysus, and the rest of you are on? Or?
I don't think I'm
I didn't
No.
really hear.
I said I was still stuck
on.
in
I'm
between
on.
the
Okay.
middle.
So it's 3 and 2,
I feel
and
like
then
I'm leaning
undecided.
towards Diagnostics.
Okay, so that would bring it to that.
What's it called?
Diagnostics.
That's
You said you're going to the hospital.
Dionysus.
My shit. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that.
So it's a tie.
Was
So
there any particular reason why? I don't know.
I enjoy the
I'm
props
just-
more, honestly. But then I said in the beginning is I just really just feel like it just came down to the props with both dances for me. You know what I mean? I enjoy both.
And they use
These are almost 1A and 1B kind of.
They use
Yeah.
the
choreography,
table
so
better
it's-
than they use the drums.
We're not doing it.
Jump in the comments and tell us how y'all feel. Like Lo said, I'm gonna put the poll up, so
It's
you know.
300 versus 300 right
Yeah,
now.
right now it's tied up on here. We're gonna see how that poll goes. Also, jump in the comments and let us know like how do y'all rate choreo battles? Do y'all look at shit and just be like, yo, whichever looks cooler, I'm kind of going with? Do y'all look at the performance of everything and say whatever performance is more grand or more popping, I go with that? Do y'all strip things down and just basically go with the dancing and kind of go from there? Or y'all a moments person where whatever had the best moment won? Or are you storytelling almost like Kurt, where it's just like if something is telling a better story and portrayed a certain way and it's more emotionally inclined to you, do you like that way? Because I kind of want to read the room and just kind of see, like, don't just say what won. Give, like, let's do some real homework, Redeemers. Jump in there, say what won, and then give a sentence or two about why you picked it. But yeah, jump on the Patreon. There's going to be some other exclusive BTS dance practices up on there. And the soup is back and active. Rise of Bangtan, run BTS, all dope shit. Gods this month. Love y'all, Army. We're going to holla at y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.